GTM Podcast Buddhist Knowledge 38 Blessings of Life Blessing 6 Part 3 Illustrative Examples. Hello everyone. You are listening to GTM Podcast. We have come to the last part, the conclusion of Blessing 6. We will tell you the illustrative example that could make you understand and more explaining about the importance of establish yourself in a proper way in life. Story number 1. It is the metaphor of boat must have a rudder. If the ship that must struggle to make way in the ocean waves is to reach the far shore, its captain must have a clear destination in mind and keep the ship firmly on course, not allowing the ship to drift. No less important is an aim in life to those wishing to achieve success and profit in their lives. Example number 2. Metaphor. The one-eyed sea turtle. The Lord Buddha taught that the birth of someone as a human is as rare as the chance of a blind turtle in the ocean, which surfaces for air once a century, popping its head through the middle of the olive flower garland, which happens to be floating in the sea. The chance of a being, which is a denizen of hell, an animal, a ghost, or a demon, attaining human birth is even slighter still. Therefore, having obtained yourself a human birth, make sure you make the best of your life. Example number 3. Metaphor. Saving for the future. Just as a wise merchant must keep aside some of his money for investment in the future, the wise man must keep aside some of his time for the practice that will allow him to renew his merit for future lifetimes. Just as the wise farmer keeps aside some of his rye crop for the next year's sowing, the wise man will take the opportunity while his own merit is still giving its fruit to accrue new merit for future existence. Example number 4. The retribution of Kapila Bhikkhu. Bhikkhu is a Pali term, means monk or venerable. In the time of the Lord Buddha named Kassapa, there was a gang of 500 thieves who were bringing the misery to the whole of the kingdom. The householders, together with the police and the army, thus hunt down the gang, and when the thieves saw that they could no longer defend themselves, they escaped into the forest. The vengeful householder did not give up chase, and so the thieves went deeper and deeper into the forest until they came to a clearing in the heart of the forest. There they met a monk and seek the monk. They start to see the error in their ways. They were receptive to what the monk had to say, and the monk taught them that they must keep the precept, even if it cost them their lives. In any case, if they were to be caught, no one would spare their lives because they had already murdered so many people. The thieves took the 5 precepts and didn't try to escape anymore. They concentrate all their attention on keeping the precepts pure. They would not hurt even a mosquito or a leech. Even if the soldier was to catch up with them and attack them with swords and knives, they swore not to put up a fight. Before long, the soldiers discovered the thieves and attacked. The thieves kept their word and put up no resistance. They weren't so devoted to keeping their precept pure. All 500 thieves were executed. But through the power of keeping the precepts to the degree they would sacrifice their lives, their bad deeds didn't have the chance to catch up with them. They were born instantly as angels. The evil of their past did not disappear. However, it was waiting for the opportunity to give its retribution. When they were reborn from the celestial world into the human realm, the influence of the killing they had done in the past still affect them. All 500 were born as fishermen in the same village. However, even though their livelihood was to kill fish. Through the power of their good deeds in the past, they all still had faith in Buddhism. Even so, the fishermen continued to collect demerit as a result of their habitual killing. One day, a group of fishermen caught a giant golden-colored fish, as big as a boat. No one had ever seen such a fish in their lives. They captured the fish and took it to offer King Pasenadi of Kosala, who in turn took the fish to the Buddha. As soon as the fish opened its mouth, a foul smell spread all around the Jetavana monastery. The king then asked the Buddha why such a beautiful fish should have such a foul smell. The enlightened one then revealed that in one of his past existences, the fish has been a learned bhikkhu named Kapila during the time of Kassapa Buddha. Because of his deep knowledge of the Dhamma, he had gained much fame and honor. He also became very conceited and looked down upon the other bhikkhus. When the other monks point out to him what was proper and not proper, he talked back to them, "How much do you know?" implying that he knew much more than those monks. In the course of time, most of the monks avoided him. On one occasion, the monk did not join him when he was reciting the fundamental precept for the bhikkhus, also known as patimokkha. Observing that the bhikkhus remained silent, Kapila said, "There is no such thing as sutta, abhidhamma, or vinaya. It makes no difference whether you listen to the patimokkha or not," and left the congregation. He had taught the Dhamma to others in a way that was biased in the monk's self-interest, in a way that made his teaching deviated from the truth. His misrepresentation of the Dhamma was thus perpetuated among his followers. There were many others, including his teachers and arahants, who had warned the monk of the danger of misrepresentation of the Dhamma. However, he would not listen. He insulted them in return for their advice. As a result, he developed false views, and when he passed away, these false views dragged him down into the unfortunate realm for a long time. Only then could he be born as a fish. The precepts of a monk gave their fruit as a beautiful golden appearance of the fish, but the retribution from insulting arahants and his teacher gave him his stinking mouth. Hearing the previous karma of the fish, the 500 fishermen considered all the evil deeds they had done as a result of their livelihood since their youth. They realized that their time in hell would certainly be no less than the fate of the fish that they had caught. So they decided collectively all to become monks and to devote themselves to the Dhamma practice. From the power of having sacrificed their lives for their precepts in a previous existence, having set themselves up properly in life, before long they could all become arahants and were no longer subject to the retribution of the evil karma of their past. Example number 5. The story of Akosaka Pararavatja. In the time of the Buddha, there was a Brahmin couple. The husband, called Pararavatja, was very strict in his Brahmin observance. He had never shown any interest in Buddhism. By contrast, his wife was a person with no further doubt in Buddhism, because she had heard one of the teachings of the Buddha and become enlightened as a stream enterer as the result. One day, the husband wanted to hold a feast for all the most high-standing Brahmins, worshipped as arahant in their religion. Thus, the husband and wife started their elaborate preparations for the feast. But when it came close to the big day, because it was the habit of the wife always to exclaim, "Buddho," whenever something surprised her, her husband appealed to her on the day of the feast not to mention anything about Buddhism or to say anything in praise of the Triple Gem. The wise said, "My mind is unified with the Dhamma. Therefore, whatever I say will also be Dhamma. There is nothing you can do to stop my mind from being that way. And what about if I take a sword and cut you into small pieces? Will that help you to educate your mind? Even if you were to make mincemeat of me," said the wife, "I could not help myself from having the Dhamma as my refuge." The husband didn't know what more to say, so they got on with the work of providing the feast. Everything went well until the wife slipped over a pile of spilled rice. She exclaimed, "Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa." Everyone present heard the wife's exclamation. The assembled Brahmins were angered by what they heard. Now they had found out that she respected not them but the Buddha. They were especially angry because they were opposed to everything the Buddha did. Those who had finished their meal immediately stood up and shouted insult at the couple. Those who had not finished eating overturned every plate of their food on the table. They stamped their feet and walked out on the couple. The husband was so angry. He didn't know what to say. He couldn't do anything to punish his wife. So he thought to take out his anger on his wife's teacher, the Buddha himself. He buckled on his sword and turned in the direction of Jetavana monastery with the intention to put an end to the Buddha and his teachings. The husband walked straight up to the Buddha without paying respect, and in his anger shouted a rhetorical question at the Buddha. "Do you know what a man has to kill in order to get a good night's sleep?" The Brahmin thought that putting an end to the Buddha was the only way he could save face and sleep soundly at night. Without waiting for an answer, the Brahmin continued, "And what a man has to kill his sorrow?" And still, without waiting for an answer, the Brahmin asked the Buddha, "And so what form of killing would you support?" The Buddha knew what was on the mind of the Brahmin and coolly answered the first question with the words, "A man must kill his anger in order to get a good night's sleep. If you don't kill your anger, you will do things that you regret later, being put in prison or punished. But if you kill your anger, you don't need to undergo the sorrowful consequence of your angry deeds." The noble ones praise the killing of anger, whose root is poison and whose crown is sweet. When the Buddha said that the root of anger is poisonous, he meant that anger is suffering as its result. When he said that the crown is sweet, he meant that we get a strange, twisted satisfaction out of expressing our anger to others or losing our temper. After hearing only these few words, Pararavaja was impressed. He was impressed that the Buddha was not angry in response to his anger. He prepared his sword to chop the Buddha to pieces at first unwelcome word. But instead of hearing anything to irritate him further, the Brahmin had been impressed by every one of the Buddha's reasoning. He threw away his sword and invited the Buddha to teach him further. In the end, he was motivated to practice the Dhamma further and end up ordained as a monk. Killing your anger is one way of setting yourself up in life. To ordain as the result of a teaching is to set up yourself in faith, in the precepts, in wisdom, or in meditation. It was in this intense way Pararavaja set himself up in life, and before long could practice until attaining arahantship. Now you can see the importance of why it is included in the blessing of life to establish yourself in a proper way. Therefore, make sure put a good aim in life so that way you can find yourself improve and grow spiritually in this life and the next. We will continue in the next blessing, which is acquire proper knowledge. What is it about? How will it continue with blessing 6? Stay tuned. See you in the next episode. If you like the program, don't forget to subscribe, like and share to help us and support us to continue the program.